Haydon, thank you so much for coming in. It's good for you to take some time out of your day. So we've got Haydon from Loan Market, who's got extensive experience in residential lending. Haydon, today's topic is getting a better understanding as to what is a credit score and what are banks looking for in a credit score. Can you shed some light on that, please?
Yeah, I can, Steve. Thanks for having me too. Banks look at your credit score like basically the first page. So if that score is very low, straight away when I look at that, I know that there's something wrong. So I'll look for a default, I'll look for missed payments.
Can I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
Just so I can get a better understanding and so the listener can get a better understanding. What is a credit score?
Credit score is basically a score based on repayment history. Repayment history based on all different things. Like it can be like having a credit facility. If you don't ever have a credit facility, you won't actually have a credit score. So
can it be affected by me not paying my land rates, water rates?
100%.
Yeah.
So if you weren't paying your land rates, the council will come after you and put a default on your credit file, which would make your credit file go down, and then you won't be able to get anything, any finance.
My phone bill? Not paying my phone bill, and that can affect my
You see that a
credit
lot.
score.
You see electricity bills as well.
Yep.
People move house and forget to pay their electricity bill, and then the mail's still going to that old house, and then they forget about it. Then they come, and then they're like, okay, I want to get finance. We pull that report up.
Personal loan?
Personal loan might be like a credit card they bought furniture with 10 years ago. It'll show you that it's open still.
Okay.
And then we'll go back and say, hey, that's still open. It shows a lot of things.
So there's a lot of things or a lot of entities, not just loan facilities, that do have access to your credit score and can determine the quality of your score. I guess that's what we've just learned there. Also, separate to that, what's a high score? What's a low score?
High score will be 1,000. Can be higher than 1,000.
Okay.
Low score, anything under 500. But as soon as you see that on the first page, we know straight away something's happening. So even applying for finance, getting the loan or not getting the loan, that's going to knock your score down. So you see it a lot too. People go buy cars and they go to the dealer and then the dealer goes and applies everywhere, knocks the score down, and then they can't go anywhere because they've knocked it down.
And so let's now get to the nuts and bolts of it. What's within a credit score? And then how can I make sure that I've got the right credit score going into getting a home loan? And can that also, two questions, can that affect the level of interest rate that my bank can give me as well? So better the score, the better my interest rate.
Well, yeah, that's one of the main things what we do is that's one of the first things we check. So it's not the end of the world if it is low or it has a default. It does just mean we might have to go to a lender you've never heard of and the rate might be a bit higher and there might be a small risk fee on top. But the other things you could do too is do that loan for 6 months, show good history for 6 months, move on. Go to a new lender because you've got a better credit score and then get a better rate.
So have you done that for clients?
Several times.
So I've come to you, I've had a lower credit score. With that lower credit score, hopefully I've been someone who's been upfront and you've said to me, what's your history like? And I've said to you, look, I'm a little bit concerned because maybe I have had the phone bill company chase me or my land rates or water rates. Who knows? It's been affected somehow. You've said, no worries. Let's have a look at the credit score, see where it's at.
Yeah.
You've been able to provide me some solutions. I've gone and gotten a home loan. I've gotten into the market and then I've corrected my behaviour over the next 6 to 9 months and you've refinanced me.
Yeah, exactly. So even like we go back to electricity bills, if it was a default, say it was $200, I might say to that client, hey, just ring up the electricity company and say that you're willing to pay it and see if they'll remove it. Because instantly once that's removed, your credit score will go up. So we might not even have to go to the other bad lender with a high interest rate.
So you get the credit score, you look at it.
Yeah, exactly.
That credit score then and there, it won't always remain that because I might be able to backtrack and contact some of these companies and get them to remove what it is that was put on it. Is that correct?
Exactly right. And yeah, that helps because then you can go to a decent interest rate and a bank that you've heard of and you avoid that whole 6 months having to show good history. Like, you still want to show good history with the new lender, obviously,
Yes.
but yeah, it just avoids that. Like, just from simply looking at that first, it helps.
Now, I had someone that was working here, and there were a few things that had popped up on their credit score, right? And they were a little bit complicated. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but did you know there's actually professionals that specialize in cleaning up credit scores? So they went and saw a solicitor. I'm not sure if you were involved or not, if it was someone else. I got a funny feeling it was you. You were the lender. I'm not sure, like the broker. But anyway, they spent something like $2,500 for this lawyer. Might have been a little bit more, might have been $3,500.
Yeah.
And they went through and they were able to contact these providers and negotiate terms to remove these things off this credit score. So then when they reapplied, they had a much higher score. So that's possible as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly right. There can be places like Credit Fix, which they'll say to the client, no fee unless they win.
Got you.
So then obviously you pay it if they win. If they don't, then... But not always they get the right result.
Of course.
It just depends on the circumstances. So,
But put it this way, if it's a blockage and it's stopping you,
yeah, it's worth paying the fee.
that's right.
100%.
Well, with this particular person, and obviously I don't want to say their name, they've gone on to do really, really well. They just needed a chance. But the whole thing is, it was exactly what you just said. 0 fee if we can't resolve it, and you'll pay this amount of money if we can. Them trying didn't make it any worse. If they failed to get that specific outcome, it wasn't like it was going to be on their credit score or they're going to have an additional payment, but then, additional bill for 0 result. But this company actually trying took a little bit longer, took like 8 weeks of them to work through it and resolve it. But the point is, this person was then able to purchase a property, not only purchase a property, purchase it through a higher tier lender with a much better interest rate as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, better outcome, obviously.
So what was the name of that company? You said that can look at...
Credit Fix, there's several. There's a lot there. But I think overall, too, everyone needs to understand your credit file is not a quick fix, basically, like you're saying. Like, it took 8 weeks, right?
Correct.
So even when I say it's a $200 default and you're getting it removed, it doesn't happen straight away. So you need to allow a couple of weeks after that, get something in writing. You can still send it off to the lender and say it's getting removed. But once it's removed, then, it's taken off the credit file and then your credit score immediately goes up from that.
So step 1, I'm speaking to Haydon Jennaway from Loan Market because he's the best in the marketplace, and/or I'm using another broker or another bank because I don't want to deal with the best. Bit of a joke, but anyway, you are the best. When I'm asked the question, is there anything I need to know? What are the things we should be relaying to you? Because you're going to see it anyway. So what are the things you need to know?
I think, one of the top things is just be honest, because I'm going to see it. Once I gather all the information, I do a credit check, I'm going to see everything on there anyways. I do see a lot of people that just miss things. Like I said, they might have a credit card that they just bought furniture from years ago. That's fine. I just get them either to close it or I get the 3-month statements if they want to keep it.
And it's just probably out of embarrassment, that's all.
Yeah, and that's fine. But it's better for me to check that because I don't want to do all this work, get all your information, give you false hope, and then lodge it, and instantly it gets declined because there's a small default.
Yep.
It won't go to the lender.
And what else do I need to know regarding a credit score? If I'm a consumer, if I'm looking at getting a loan, is there anything else I need to know regarding a credit score? Or is that pretty much it?
I think the main one is just that when you do apply, don't try and apply multiple places because it will knock your score down. And like I said, it takes ages for your score to recover.
Right. So even though, because you've got lots of people in the marketplace, right? They say to you, particularly mums and dads and the candlestick maker and the butcher, everyone giving you advice that has no idea. And that's respectfully too, because they've all got good intentions to want to help you. Your uncles and aunties and other people that say, hey, go out and, apply and get a couple of quotes and see who can get you the best deal. You're telling me by putting in a number of applications that will lower my credit score.
Yes, 100%. So it knocks it down by a couple of basis points, like on your score, it doesn't. If you really need to, like, there's a couple of instances there I've actually lodged a couple. But what happens is a lot of people go, oh my God, I don't really want to do that because, yeah, it does knock your score down, but I'm upfront about that. But the second thing is, it's not going to come up if you got knocked back from one bank A and then bank B says, oh, we can see they applied there as well. It's fine. That's all they can see.
So I'm guessing when I'm going to a mortgage broker specifically, because that's the person that's got access to, you know, a large array of opportunities, I want to make sure that this person isn't a hit and miss person. That when they're putting in my application, when they're recommending a lender, when they're recommending a package, they're not testing it to see if I can get it. They've gathered all the information.
Exactly
They've
right.
got a great understanding as to my situation. Because if they're using the process to see if I can get the loan, every time I'm declined, it makes the next application harder.
Exactly right. Well, it does. So that's for me. I get all the information. I make sure it's going to go to that lender and it's going to work.
Right.
I'm not just going to put it, you know, you might be banking with a certain lender for 10 years and then it's a total different policy that they don't do. Just because you've been banking with them for 10 years, they don't care. They're not going to change their policy.
So just because I'm with someone, or just because my family's got history with someone, it doesn't mean that's the best lender for me.
It also can be a bad thing. You might be with a lender ages ago and you might have missed a credit card payment 10 years ago. And then we're borrowing 95% of the loan. They'll see that from 10 years ago and knock you back.
That'll be enough.
Yeah, 100%.
Nuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
So is there anything else I need to know, or do you think that's pretty much it in a nutshell?
I think, yeah, that's a fair bit of info. But yeah, that's basically a good set of information to look at a credit score for sure.
Well, thank you for covering off on the credit score, because I learned a few things as well. And just having that level of understanding, I think that really it comes back to one thing: making sure you're going to someone who isn't new in the loan market.
Yeah.
Making sure that you're going to someone who is getting all the due diligence, understands the current policies, the lending criterias. So when they're submitting your application, they're submitting it to a lender with the understanding we're getting it approved, we're not testing.
Yep, exactly right.
So Haydon, thank you so much for coming in. Hopefully you've gotten the information that you require to make sure that that information now tells you one thing primarily. Not just what a credit score is, not how it works and doesn't work, but the importance of going to a lender that understands what the current lending policies are of the people that they're pitching your business to. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for coming in, Haydon.
Thanks, Steve.